just thinking yesterday about this Google Plus thing. You know, it's really quite annoying. I mean, we're all into YouTube and motovlogging for our own personal reasons. My reasons were relatively simple. I do most of my riding in Seoul and in rural Sri Lanka, and you spend pretty much 99% of your time focused on watching out for things you're going to run into and things that are going to run into you, which is the life of a motorcycle rider, I guess. But Seoul and Sri Lanka in particular can be a bit sketchy. And basically I'm riding around these cool places and I'm not actually seeing anything that's off to the side of me at all. And I mentioned this to Mrs. Bambloozled, and as a birthday gift she got me a camera that I could mount on the front of my bike. I thought, oh, this is cool, great stuff. And so I'm watching this stuff and I thought I'll put it on YouTube for my friends and family to see, so they can see where I live and what I do and some of my daily experiences. Probably quite similar to a lot of you guys. And then I started subscribing to some other people around. There are not too many motovloggers in Korea or in Seoul, and so it can be a relatively lonely existence. None of my friends ride to any great extent, so getting access to YouTube people was absolutely fantastic as far as I was concerned. And there's quite a few that I subscribe to. This is not really a shout out, but I'll just let you know who I watch on a fairly regular basis. One of the big guys, and one of the guys I really appreciate, is a guy called Royal Jordanian. You're probably familiar with him and his wonderful motorcycle, the Husqvarna Nuda, and all its roaring glory. He does a lot of his posting out of London. He also does some stuff out of Morocco. Currently he's got a nice Egypt series going on. It was good to subscribe to him. And then there's another guy I subscribe to out of Tehran. He's at the other end of the scale. Now, Tehran in Iran is a place that I'd love to go to, but obviously I never will. And this guy TB is his channel, worth checking out. TB posts stuff about riding around in Tehran, and that, my friend, is an unbelievable place to ride a motorcycle in. It's absolute chaos, but there he is, braving the streets of Tehran. Really, really good stuff. Another good motovlogger I enjoy watching is Mr. Oz Adventure from my home country. He's up in Queensland, I believe. Talks about a lot of shit, a lot of good personal stories and stuff. I'm guessing we probably grew up at roughly the same time, because he's got the same bad taste in music as I have. And another guy worth subscribing to is a guy out of Portugal called Castrojo 37. I probably haven't pronounced it correctly, but he is again, I think he spent his childhood in Australia and is now living up in the hills in Portugal, and produces these wonderful little motovlogs about life up in a small town in Portugal. Really, really cool stuff. I mean, these are motovloggers, and it's always good watching their stuff, but it's also cool to watch some other stuff as well. There's a guy out of the States that I follow called Yellow Bus Guy, who, as you can probably guess, is all about yellow buses. I don't know much about yellow buses, but I like listening to his opinions and descriptions of yellow buses. He's a guy you could quite happily have a drink with, I think. Got a few interesting other areas of interest as well, and he's cool to follow. There's a guy called Len Skapoff. His channel is out of the UK. Excuse me, sir. There's another motovlogger, but I really he doesn't post as much as he used to, but he always makes very nice comments. I always appreciate that. And of course there's a couple of Koreans I subscribe to. There's one called About Korea, and that's a pretty good channel as well. He's in a car, not on a motorcycle, but he goes to these really cool places, takes some wonderful looking shots, and just generally does some interesting stuff. There's also a guy, the only other motovlogger that I've found in Korea, called Alex Dadoof. He's down south somewhere, and he posts these quite long videos of his rides around southern Korea. Quite a few of these places I haven't been to, so it's be somewhere I'd like to head down to, so it's always good to see Alex's stuff. And there's a Luna Gayagum, she's a Korean musician. She plays a traditional Korean instrument. It's almost like a sitar lying on its side. It's called a Gayagum, if I pronounce it correctly. And she does all these sort of Jimi Hendrix covers and Stevie Ray Vaughan covers and Pink Floyd covers on this traditional Korean instrument. Kind of rocks, actually. Really, really good stuff. But I guess the point of what I'm saying is motovlogging is cool, but you also get to experience other people's interests as well, which brings me back to Google Plus eventually. Now, Google Plus has basically forced itself upon me being the shy maiden, Google Plus being the rampaging pirate, I guess. And so I've had to sign up for Google Plus, which means that anybody else who's attached to me on that area kind of can follow what I'm doing. Now, I know YouTube is public, I'm not stupid, I'm totally aware of that. But kind of the analogy I'm thinking of is that you go to your pub, you're local with your mates, and you want to have a couple of beers and say talk about motovlogging, for example, talk about your experiences on motorcycles and just generally, life in general. And you walk up to the barman and you say, I'd like to buy a round of drinks for my mates. And the barman says, well, listen mate, I can't sell you any drinks and you can't talk to your mates unless everybody can listen to your conversation. And that barman to me is Google Plus. Now I've got friends that aren't interested in motorcycles, I've got family members that aren't interested in motorcycles. Every conversation I have, particularly those ones I have in the pub, I don't necessarily want certain people to become involved in them. They don't need to know what I'm talking about. And so yeah, it'd be much appreciated if Google Plus kind of relaxed a little and chilled out. Let people who want to use it use it, and let those of us who don't use it.